Live from Pahrump, Nevada, the Valley of the Dirt People, it's Tech Talk Taco Tuesday with your hosts, Jimmy Lewis and Logan Tyler.
Live from Pahrump, boys and girls, this is Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. It's the show where, what do we talk about, Logan?
Motorcycles and motorcycle-related products.
And this is Logan Tyler, who, that's about the best you've ever come in. That was direct. I think, you know, your counter. We've got it.
Oh, I put it in. Yeah, it's just a simple text overlay. We'll make it a little bit better next show.
Do you know about this yet?
No.
So this is going to be a sponsored thing on this podcast pretty soon. Do I get counted when I say it? Counter?
No, not in this context, but uhs and ums are going to count here, which I actually just added to this.
Yeah, you did.
I gotta bring it in here. Hold on, I just added two more.
I want you to be a little more specific about using this counter and pay attention to the rest of the show. Don't get too distracted with this new thing that we have. Is this going to cause problems, Logan?
I'm trying to find a better place for it to where people can actually read it, because down here it just kind of blends in with that paper.
Are they seeing it fly around on the screen right now?
They are seeing it floating around, yeah.
Well, welcome everybody. You are with us on Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. I had an exciting day today. Yeah, just keep it easy. Let's just go slow with that. Just break it in. You can miss a couple because I don't want you to miss anything else. This show is brought to you by Yamaha and their exciting line of two-stroke motorcycles. They have four strokes too, but we're going to talk about the two strokes. At least I am. New for 2022, the revised YZ125 makes for the perfect step-up machine. Purposeful step-up machine. That's what I was going to say. Featuring an all-new engine, revised 6-speed transmission, new brakes, suspension settings, improved rider ergonomics, and aggressive new styling. And I have one in the garage, and I didn't ride it today, which was probably part of the problem that we had.
Probably.
The YZ250 also delivers improved rider ergonomics, new front and rear brakes, updated suspension settings, and aggressive styling. For a truly race-inspired look, check out the YZ250 and YZ125 Monster Energy Yamaha Racing Editions. And for the next generation of riders, a YZ65, a YZ85, or a YZ85 LW will deliver big bike specs in smaller packages. Visit YamahaMotorsports.com to find your YZ and enter the victory zone today, like Logan did a couple weeks ago. Correct?
Victory zone.
Yeah. Did you do the victory zone?
I didn't go to it, but
You entered it.
yeah,
You achieved the victory zone.
third place.
Third place. No, that's not the victory zone, Logan. I thought you said you
It's
won.
a zone, not.
Oh, yeah. You got in the zone. You didn't actually. Yeah, I guess the victory zone. It's a little tough. Oh, well. Not bad for your first ride in the YZ125.
No,
Fun bike.
it is.
I like it a lot.
You know, remember what the first rule of being the co-host is?
Continuing conversation.
When
while drinking.
when I'm thirsty. I'm thirsty today. Matt and I rode today, and it was, we didn't get 100 today. Maybe, 90, 95?
Yeah, maybe mid-90s, but it did not hit 100.
Wasn't too bad. You can tell when we're riding because I only ride for the gram these days. Like, I don't ride because it's fun or anything. I just ride to make Instagram content. So there is a new I've Got You in My Pocket on Instagram.
And Facebook.
And it went to Facebook too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did it go to Grinder? Because we were grinding.
Jury's still out on that one.
We were grinding on the bikes. We were trying to learn something today. So today we took out a Honda CRF 250 FX, like a 2006-ish version, and a Christini CRF 250X. Actually, it's a CRF 280X. Did you know this, Matt?
I did not know it was a 280.
Yeah. Does that change anything about how you think now when you think back?
No, I would have thought it was a 250 still.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm assuming you need that extra 30 cc's for that front wheel.
It doesn't hurt. Yeah, it absolutely doesn't. It doesn't hurt. Now, so what we're gonna one thing we're working on here is we have on our YouTube channel. You may have seen it. We have a short little clip of a Christini all-wheel drive. I should have called Steve and see if he wanted to come on the show. I was thinking about it. I thought about it about 7 times today and just never managed to do it. But we have a short video of a KTM 1190 that has all-wheel drive put on it. And it was something we were testing out here, and we shot some videos of it. I have a few more, but it has like 3 million views, and so people are curious about it. And so one of the projects we're working on now is I'm trying to get some riders that don't have all-wheel drive experience to have some all-wheel drive experience and test a few things. And that's what you were supposed to do, but you got to do what today?
Move bricks.
Move bricks. Well, actually, it's slabs of
Concrete.
Yeah, foundation, which is good for you. It's better than laying around in your bed naked, which evidently that's what you're doing a week and a half ago.
That's what Cooper thought I was doing.
Well, that's what you told him you were doing. That was what was reported back to me.
Yeah.
So, and did you hear my rant about that?
No.
I got upset because you're wasting valuable time.
Oh, I was in the background of that.
So, anyhow, that's good. That's your reward for laying around and doing nothing. What are you looking for? Oh, should I answer the phone from this guy? That guy?
Uh,
I
You
could
should
bring him
call
on
into
the show.
hotline.
yeah.
I could. You know what? Hold on a second. Let me do this live on. Johnny Campbell, welcome to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we have a hotline on the show. It's called the Seat Concepts Hot Seat Hotline, and that number for that, if you want to call in, is 775-318-8. No. 318-5515. That's our number. It's in the chat, right, Matt?
I'll put it in the chat right now.
We'll put it in the chat. So, welcome to Tech Talk, Johnny Campbell. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. You could just call me the professional miniature motorcycle test rider.
Right. So you're doing one of your jobs, which is making Honda products better, and you're testing some stuff, super top secret stuff. I lobbied out a guess at what I thought it was today. Was I close?
I don't know. Did you leave me a message or something?
Yeah, I left you a message. You just saw my name and you called back.
I did do that.
That's dangerous.
I was starting to look at the message, but I thought, I'll just call him. I'm just going to look at this.
Okay. Well, so I just want you to. So I had a technical question because I was riding a Honda-like motorcycle today. It's not really a Honda, although it's kind of like a Honda. It was a Christini, but it used to be a Honda, and we turned it into a Christini, and it has a CRF 250X motor into it, and we were riding it, and I was doing a hill climb, just full stress, just wide open. And the bike just shut off, just like I hit the kill button. Just done. And then it wouldn't start. And I checked to make sure it was fuel good. You know, fuel was leaking out of the carburetor when I laid it over, all this stuff. And then, so we decided, okay, we're going to tow it out with another CRF 250X, by the way. And I checked the kill button. I pulled the wires. Actually, on that bike, it's hard to disconnect the kill button because it's also connected to the switch that tells you the clutch is pulled in.
Yes.
So what we disconnected the kill button to see if anything like that would change it. No change. Got the bike off the trail onto the dirt road, and I said, I'm going to try to start it. I tried to start it, started right up. And then I'm like, well, I'm not going to shut it off. We wrapped up the tow rope. And I went to go start it. It rolled like 3 feet and stalled again. So then we towed it up. We towed it down the road. It cooled off again, started up again. Went for what? Probably about a mile or two.
Yep.
Died. Just shut off instantly. And then we think we got it to start one more time. And then it died again. So my diagnosis is stator, exciter pulse coil.
My first impression is that the stator is starting to fail because when it gets warmed up, it stops like that.
Yep.
Does it start? Does it matter if you kick start it or battery start it?
Do we never tried to kickstart
We never
it?
tried kicking it.
We actually never kicked it because it would start with the button, but and it's spinning over really fast. It's not like it's spinning over slow.
Okay.
But
That's good.
yeah, so that was my diagnosis is stator. So I'm on the right path, right?
Yeah, stator, you're on the right path. But before you dive into that, check all the most simple solutions, like, is it vapor locking? Is it
Nope.
Is the coil wires on the coil? Are they just hanging there?
Oh,
is
yeah,
the
yep.
coil tight? Is the coil tight? That ground wire on the coil.
Right. Yeah. See, it was we decided where we're at. We decided we kind of had to get back for the show, so we decided to go the get out of there quick tow method as opposed to pull it apart. But it's back. It's back in the shop. I got a nice line forming in front of my shop of all my bikes that need work. I had the whole line was cleaned up. It was good. It was ready to start cleaning the top of the bench, and now I got a line. It has a Christini CRF 250X. It has a CRF 250X because I think it's time for, we noted, 50 some odd hours on the top end.
I believe so.
And it's not starting very well. So that means probably valve train, tight valves.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's pretty good. You know what bike that is, Johnny? Remember the one that you guys built for the Dirt Rider 24-hour? The one that Eric did where he made Honda red, white, and blue inside the clutch cover?
Yeah, that was a great bike.
That's a great bike. It's still ripping, and so that one's there. My XR100 has an oval piston in it, which is not stock, and Dwayne from BBR hooked me up with a new piston. My TTR125 has an oval piston in it. It's from all the flat tracking and over revving on the flat track, and so those things they're just like the line is going out the door. I'm going to be busy for a while. So
yeah, you need like a little wrench guy to kind of
right.
start helping.
I was thinking about hiring Preston, but he folded himself in half.
Yeah, he did the jackknife to his body in the back.
Yeah, good. He's good though. He's gluing back together, right?
Yep, he's in a real good positive direction, and I think the job that was done to fix him was really good. So there's a great prognosis that he will be 100% at some point in the next few months.
All right. So we got some of our people in the chat are verifying that it's the exciter coils going out, and on the Honda, it's all part of a single assembly, correct? It's not like on some other bikes you can actually buy just that little external part, and it's a separate wire. On Honda, it's all one wire, correct?
Yeah, it's all one unit, so they don't sell it separately.
Yep. I'm hoping I have a spare one laying around. I might, in all my crazy CRF parts that I have floating around here. So, well, that was my question. Hey, you guys announced some news.
Yeah. So today we just announced the second annual handstands at 100 mile an hour Baja Desert Racing Desert Community Reunion. We're going to have that September 24th at the Blackmore Ranch in Murrieta. It was a big hit last year. A lot of the, desert folks came out, just old legends and champions and fans and pit people. And we had all the desert racing organizations make an appearance. Anybody from Hare and Hound, Score, BITD, D37. And this year we're gonna focus actually on the clubs and get some of their history in there. And I want a bunch of clubs to show up with their tents and their colors and stuff, and celebrate the guys that have put in the work to put races on all these years. They're volunteers, and I think it's good to recognize the motorcycle clubs. They keep off-road motorcycle racing going. And so that's one of the things we'll focus on there, amongst a host of other things like, we always have like a bike display with historic bikes and memorabilia. But overall, it's a really fun time just to get everybody together and celebrate, desert racing.
So I don't get invited to that, right? I can't come.
You're invited. Totally. Come
you
on,
just-
you're Jimmy Lewis.
You invite my bike. I mean, my wife, right? Or maybe have me you get some of my bikes, but no, not me, right?
Yeah. One of the bikes that I want there is I want your XR80 Baja 500 bike.
I'll have to get Big John over here to help me take it off the wall. It's mounted on the wall in our classroom. It's literally it's on top of a giant piece of lumber that we hung it up on the wall. But I'll bring it. I can bring that thing. Me and Jamie will pop wheelies on it.
That'd be cool. That's one piece we haven't shown, so that'd be fun to have there.
Yeah.
The second event to that, we have a dual sport ride. We did a little dual sport ride last year on the same day as the event, and it was a big hit, but it was a lot of work to do everything at one day. So we decided to grow it, separate it. So we're going to do what we call the Baja Borrego. It's a 130-mile loop and has a lot of good stuff in it, up and around through Anza Borrego, and so it'll be fun. Looking forward to that. We're going to do it December, so it'll be nice and cool. And we're going to do some, I don't know if we're doing riding seminars, but we're going to, do some sharing and stuff Friday night before the ride.
I know how to do riding seminars.
You are the king of riding seminars.
You can hook a microphone up to me, and then I have this thing on my back. It's like a key, and you put a wind-up switch in it. You just turn it, and then I just go.
Well, I would definitely wouldn't mind you coming down and giving us
we can talk.
the old Jimmy Lewis.
We talk about
2 cents.
we talk about the day rates. Yeah, 2 cents, but we're gonna have to talk about day rates. But don't get those two things confused.
Yeah, I'll come do a riding seminar for pretty cheap.
Matt'll 1 cent you. So, but Matt might be walking out here with the tail between his legs later on in the show, because we're gonna talk about why bikes break. Pretty soon, and I think it has to do. There's a certain characteristic. It's an aura that people have, and Matt seems to be able to just crush all of my bikes.
Yeah.
With really, he doesn't even have to be on them sometimes, is what I'm starting to realize.
Because I wasn't on the other Christini, but this is the second one we've had to tow out.
Right? Yeah, we've had some Christini problems, but so it was funny because Matt goes, the last time we went riding, we were both, we had a Christini with us. And we had to tow him out. But I'll tell you one thing, he has become a much better tow buddy.
Yep.
Yeah,
I started to really figure it out there. I started to click.
So
there's kind of a pattern there, Christini's and tow buddy. So,
it's not just Christini's for me.
Just bring it.
Yeah, well, the Christini stuff, none of the Christini stuff broke on us. The other one was a Honda clone. It was one of the the Asia Wing bikes. So, and that bike, what did we figure out was the problem with that?
I don't know if we ever figured it out. I remember you were calling Christini to talk about it.
Yeah, there was something, we were testing something on it that we were breaking, but it's normal. That's why you test things. So, that's how it goes. Well, Johnny, thanks for calling. Thanks for confirming that my how old do you think that bike is? That bike's got to be 50, almost close to 20.
6,
close to 20 years old.
Yes.
So yeah, not bad. Because both those bikes were kind of the same vintage. Actually, I think that Christini ran at that 24-hour as well. We had a team riding it during that time as well. So awesome. Well,
wow, that's some good history there.
Yeah, I should sell some of these damn bikes. So, okay, well, hey, thanks for calling in, even though you didn't know you were going to be on the show. I slipped that promotion right in there. So everybody, where should everybody go to find out about the handstands at 100?
You could go to hardenoffroad.com. Scott has it up on his site, and you can register there for either event. And he's actually just redid his website, and it's pretty simple and easy to use. Looks nice. So, yeah, go to harden.com or hardenoffroad.com and check it out.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Johnny, and we'll keep in touch.
Okay, see you guys. Have fun.
See ya.
See you, Johnny.
Well, that worked out.
That was good.
Yeah, I'll take some calls.
Hey, did you list off the other sponsors, or just Yamaha?
Nope.
That was Logan's job.
Moto, Scott Sport.
Wait. I want Spunk. Spunk.
Spunk.
Like announcer
Spunk.
voice and spunk for because these sponsors.
I think I lost that announcer voice, but
Because you used to have the high pitched kitty voice.
Mhm.
Yeah, when you started the show.
yeah.
Yeah, but you can, just drive in it. Remember, I don't want you to go like Supercross, dude.
Yeah.
That and you don't have to go like.
Taco Moto, Scott Sports, Climb, DDC, Trail Tech, Fasst Company, and Seat Concepts.
You don't have to do that.
Because
Yeah.
the sponsors have to pay extra for that.
Right. Yeah. So go ahead. Because I'm thirsty.
You can go to Takamoto for EXC, KTM EXC, and EXC, most EXCFs.
They have Honda parts now. They have
Honda.
They have click it.
Oh,
The
I've been
funnel?
updating it. Don't worry.
They have those screw-in funnels. There was something else that I was gonna say that you should go there for, and I forgot what it was. There was a part that I was saying that is a good thing that everybody could use, but maybe these two brain cells I have that are they're shaking and vibrating together, they might excite and something might happen. Okay, next.
Scott Sports with the goggles.
They make goggles.
Pretty good goggles.
Really good goggles.
Yeah.
I think their goggles, like, if you want to say the goggle that's used is like one of the standards of goggles,
Yes.
Scott's would be the ones you're looking at.
Yes. Climb with great gear and magnetic goggle lenses.
Yep, they have goggles. But the nice thing about the Climb stuff is the Mojave gear, which is very vented, which was really nice today. And I think that if you're going to be riding the hot, especially the jerseys, man, I didn't even feel like I was wearing a jersey today. And you were wearing the XC Light.
That one's pretty good in and of itself when I was pushing up a hill.
Yeah, when he was pushing the bike while I was dragging him with the tow rope, because we got stuck kind of down at the bottom of a nice hill.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the bike was trying to come back up the nice hill, and then luckily there was a road around it, or we would have been in real trouble.
DDC with the
Shiny
stainless
steel sprockets. Yeah.
long
DDC.
lasting and
And a longtime sponsor of this show. They were one of the first ones that jumped aboard, which was awesome.
built in the USA.
Trail Tech.
Trail Tech with the Voyager Pro.
That's right. We had a regular Voyager on one of our bikes today.
Yes.
The old one, which is still a pretty cool little. It's a very simple motorcycle specific GPS unit.
Yeah.
And Trail Tech makes things like radiator guards, radiator fans, kickstands, and a lot of GPS type products.
Fasst Company with the flex handlebars, spoke torque wrench.
That little Chingadera thing that goes on your rim lock to keep it centered. You know how sometimes when your rim lock gets torqued because the tire slips and stuff, it wasn't tightened properly, and it's all crooked. Well, they make this nice little piece. It's probably just a few dollar piece, and it just tightens, cinches right down, and it centers that thing all up. It's a really sano little. It's just the kind of stuff you see on factory bikes. And Fasst Company is also world famous for their flex handlebars,
Yes.
which neither of the bikes that we were riding had on today, and
No, they
I
did not.
feel it in my wrists. Actually, the first bump I hit when we went right past the winery, and we went into that little G out ditch. There's a
Right.
little G out ditch there. The very first bump I hit, I went ah, and I'm like, what? And I was thinking forks. I'm thinking all the things, and I was like, nope, didn't have the flex bars on, but that's what I get.
C Concepts.
Seat Concepts bringing you the Seat Concepts Hot Seat Hotline. If you would like to call us, if you have a question, or if we have a question for you, you can call in on the hotline, and the number is 775-318-5515. Right, Logan? Say that again.
775-318-5515.
You can call in, and we will get right to your call, evidently. We have screeners standing by. We have Maddox, who's our new screener,
Yes.
in there. He was taught like at least 20 minutes before the show how to handle this.
At least.
He's on top of it. He's not a dirt bike rider though.
No.
Does not ride.
No, we just scraped him up from somewhere around Pahrump. He was
Cool.
surfing. He was surfing in Pahrump at the dry lake, at the edge of the dry lake bed.
Mm-hmm.
Because he looks like a surfer.
Yeah.
And so the waves weren't up today, so he came in today
To lift concrete.
to lift concrete and answer the calls.
Yes.
Or he's answering the calls to get out of lifting concrete. Because those, Logan, if I was you, I'd be having those guys doing dump runs, like at least loading the damn trailer up, and you're in here, you go, I got to work, you guys handle this.
Yeah. Well, our trailer's on jacks, so
I told you I have tires. I can help you out, but your dad's out there bailing you out right now.
yep.
Oh, man, that guy. I drank beers with him last night.
Oh.
Yeah, I rode your bike. Your we'll call it a Tour of Jimmy bike. You're going to go on the Tour of Jimmy.
Yes.
When we come back from Tour Tech. I was out testing your bike, making sure it was good.
Sweet.
And if the bike that was, because the bike that was your bike, if it's better than my bike, then my bike will become your bike. Because I was trying to figure out which one's better.
Which one has seat concepts on it?
Neither of them have a seat concepts, but that is one of the calls I'm going to try to make. I know it's a little bit of a rush because those bikes have low seats.
Yes.
And I was going to try to see if we can do something about that.
Yeah.
But they might, because I don't know if they're going to the Tour Tech Rally. Who knows? And our next to last sponsor. Is there one more?
No.
No,
Well,
that's it.
dirt bike test.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Lewis Off Road, dirt
That-
bike test. Well, this is a dirt bike test product. My school, I'm pimping my school. Like I got my cups out here. I got my shirt on.
Where can you get that cup?
You have to earn this cup. This one with the guy getting lifted up, the endo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember when we used to do that a lot more in the class?
Yeah, when I was smaller.
Yeah.
We did it all the time.
Yeah, we don't do it that much anymore. Probably because I'm getting older. I don't like lifting up motorcycles. Actually, I don't like people
And-
peeing themselves.
Yeah, and also we lost Johnny.
Oh,
so
Big John was good for that.
Mhm.
Yeah, Big John. You heard from that guy?
I've not.
Yeah, he's got a Tenere. He's got a Husky Rockstar Edition TPI bike, and I never hear from him. He's got all the cool toys. I guess he figured out what the cool toys were. He listened to me and bought them, and then just went on his own way.
Yeah.
He's living his best life.
Best life. He needs to come by. I'd like to get him back on the show.
We need a better rider with him too.
That's right. We definitely need it because he's the tall guy.
Tall guy.
Yeah, the tall guy. So check out www.jimmylewisoffroad.com. You can't get these. Actually, we gave these cups out to students that were subjected to my demonstration because I always ask for volunteers.
Mhm.
And if you volunteer, then
I forgot mine here. I got given one.
Oh, this? Because we did it to you. Or
Yeah, I got.
because these are collector's items.
I've done it like 10 times.
I ordered up like a couple hundred of these cups. These silly pints, they're really cool.
Yeah, they're cool.
I can't break them. They're great for like if you're gonna go adventure touring. We'll take a couple of these with us,
Yeah.
and then I'll pour my beer in every night when we stop. I'll pour my beer in here, and then you can put your whatever Pepsi or whatever your Sprite or something in yours. And that way we won't break our cups. So yeah, you get one of these cups. This might be yours. I don't know. It's just floating around this house, and I'm drinking out of it now.
Yeah.
I don't know where mine went. I actually have one of those because back when I was a student,
We did this to you.
there's a picture of me on Facebook still of you doing that to me.
Doing the
before-
drill.
Back when I was a student, just a young lad being taught how to ride a dirt bike.
And if you want to know why we do this, and it's funny about this, when I'm doing this, I'm also holding
You're holding the...
I'm holding a silly pint,
Yeah.
like one of the cups, because I don't remember who made this, but they threw one in as a joke, I think, and we they made this artwork for it, and I'm like, oh, give us 100 of those. So we ordered up 100 more of those.
Oh, really?
And then we started giving them out to the people that did the drill. So yeah, so Jimmy Lewis Off Road. We're not doing a whole lot until October, but actually Paul Neff's CISPA Cycles classes are coming up. He's got
Okay.
we will announce in our newsletter his dates. He's very limited, and he's just training hard for Dakar. He's really working on Dakar. We're going to do a nice fundraiser for him, or he's going to do a nice fundraiser for himself. I'm going to helping promote it right now up at the Tour Tech Rally, and So if you want to just check Paul on Paul Neff or Cispus Cycles on the socials, and you can find out more about that.
I'm having too much fun with this an counter.
Yeah, we doubled it.
In the
Since
system.
doing sponsors, we doubled it. During
We were
sponsors.
under 20, and then that last little section right there, just they just kept every other word.
We're at 3 ums a minute, evidently, according to Rick Levon.
I don't know if the math really matches that, but we are over one
It's
per minute.
1 per minute.
Thank you, Logan.
We're gonna work.
I'm having too much fun.
Well, that's good.
I enjoy this.
Hey, Craig, thank you for putting up Paul's website there. I was gonna say it, but I can block it out.
No,
I can stall out just a little bit and not get it. It's such an easy word. The problem is my mind runs at such a high speed,
Right.
and it's telling you the use of that word and but and they're just different things.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like people use and
Yeah.
there's a few words, and it's
Like?
if you pay attention to it when you're listening to somebody, you pay attention to you key on that, and it just starts bothering the crap out of people, especially people that have been taught how to speak. I went to communication school, and I was thinking about riding dirt bikes, so I wasted a lot of my time there.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they taught me this, and what they taught me was, because I went to speech classes and public speaking and broadcast speaking, they said, Jimmy, just slow down, enunciate. Think about what you're going to say before you say it. But I didn't practice this. I was like, while they were telling me this, I was thinking about getting starts at a desert race or something. I was thinking about hole shotting a bomb run. This is what I was thinking about while somebody was telling me all these very important things that I could be using right now.
Mm-hmm.
So now, Logan, you know what I do? Yeah, I told you this about school, right? Go there and steal something as opposed to go there and think about
Bomb starts.
bomb run
runs.
starts. Yeah, while they're telling you what you need to know. Don't waste your time in school letting it all go in one ear and out the other, because in the last couple of minutes, notice what I've done. I rolled back into the training or the teaching I had, slowed down, thought about what I was thinking, let it flow out and said it properly. Now I'm going to go back to being just dumb Jimmy.
You didn't say the word that whole time.
I know.
He's thinking about it.
Because
Yeah,
I actually,
you were at work.
instead of
You
just
were-
being natural, but back to the point I was trying to make is, for someone's that's mind's going a little bit crazy, or you're stalling, and on my part, I'm stalling for time to let myself think, because the thought process hasn't finished, and it's just, I've got to say something, and if
Yes.
my lips aren't moving or I'm not making noise, I feel like it's silence, and I might lose you. So I'm just, hold on. It's like when you're doing a jump and you're up in the air, and then the panic rev ensues.
Yeah.
That's the panic rev. That's the because you feel like you're going to come up short,
Yeah.
but you got to extend it. So you give it so that's
Yes.
and don't count that one.
Oh, I'm not counting these ones.
That was descriptive.
Right. It was descriptive. It doesn't count.
Wait till Cletus comes back.
Oh boy. We need.
Oh,
more
I'm
messed up
excited for
words.
that counter. We
Yeah.
got more stuff in the pipeline.
Because he
Cletus
likes
counter.
he likes to talk.
He does. And
He's not
does
afraid.
not-
He's not afraid to talk. He
and
keeps
he does
it going.
not like to, like.
He wants to keep
enunciate
going.
and-
Yeah, it's good. So, yeah, we've got to get somebody to call on the show. And trust me, if you call into the show, you will be put on the counter.
Oh, I was not counting Johnny. This thing would be so much higher if I was counting
Did
for
he
Johnny.
throw some ums out?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
There was... we would probably be hit more than 3 per minute.
Oh, okay. Well, we're just trying to be professional here. By 150 episodes of this show, I want it to be, professional.
We have a 5
tight.
5 episode limit here to
Buffer.
5-episode buffer here
It's a
to
buffer.
really get in. Because 150, that's when it really gets serious.
Right. So we've got through we did our sponsors like we're supposed to, right, Logan?
Yep. Do we have a call-in?
Do we have a call?
We do not have one in. I will let you guys know.
It'd be really nice if somebody would call into the show.
Well, we had Johnny.
Well, I know Johnny called in like he circumvented the hotline. We've got a whole team of qualified professionals in there waiting to take your call.
You know what? We kind of sound like
Operators are standing by.
We sound like whenever there's those charity drives and there's celebrities like answering the calls.
Yeah.
We kind of sound like that right now. Call in right now to donate.
Oh, you don't even have to make a donation.
Yeah.
No.
Don't worry, it's costing us 3 cents a minute.
We have to. Well, they're donating their time.
6.
You got to think about the opportunity cost that they're giving up in order to call us.
Right. Somebody will take the challenge. I mean, George tried it last time, didn't he?
Oh, well,
He was forced.
Oh.
He was not forced.
Yeah, he was.
He was not forced.
He was trying to figure out what was wrong with his Facebook, and he said, call in. And,
He was in the Facebook chat right when he called in.
yeah.
Speaking of George, here's a George sticker. And if you're not watching this, if you're listening to this and you don't know what a George sticker is, unfortunately, you'll have to see it all over the place. So
Yeah, it's George with the gold tooth.
And a thumbs up.
I
And a
didn't
thumbs up.
I didn't really notice the gold tooth. Is it
Gen
on?
1, it was, or Gen 2, or it was
Oh,
really,
it's an upgrade. The gold
yeah,
tooth.
that might have been 2 or 3.
Do my graphics on that bike, the George bike that I raced, do they have the big gold tooth?
Mine does. It's pretty.
Oh, you have graphics. You have
Yeah,
George
that's the
graphics?
only graphics I have on my bike. That's why it's last on the Rooster Endo.
Oh, because of the George graphics?
That's the only reason.
I think it was on the
On
old
the
Rooster
old
Endo. Yeah, the
Old
old
Rooster
board.
Endo, it's
Hey, don't we have some questions?
Oh, let's get to the questions. Let's dive right in.
You want to take Todd's?
Oh, I think you should take it, Logan. You need the
Oh
practice.
boy.
Yeah, and I need some time.
I think I found found the culprit for the coolant loss issue. The short answer is I caused it. Here's the process I used.
Whoa, wait a minute. Do we just have someone admit to fault?
Maybe.
That's a very interesting human characteristic. I don't see that much, but okay, let's go.
I drained the oil, which was milky, and noticed roughly 200 milliliters of antifreeze in it after letting it settle for months. This led me to suspect something inside the engine. Next, I used a hand pump and cobbled together a radiator cap to pressure test the cooling system while the engine was cold. The pressure would drop from 15 psi to 10 psi over a 12-hour period of time. I also removed the oil filter and verified that no coolant was leaking into the chamber while the system was pressurized. The oil filter cavity shares a center case seal with a cooling passage. I then ran a leak down test. The leakage was less than 2% or within the measurement error. I then focused on the water pump seal that replaced a year ago, less than 5,000 miles. While I was attempting to remove it, I noticed the outer lip of the seal adjacent to the case was split. Imagine if someone took a scalpel and sliced the circumference of the seal at the outer split edge. I suspect that the impeller may have been rubbing against it, but there are no witness marks on the impeller. When I installed it last year, I could not get the seal to sit flush with the case without using excessive force, so I left the seal a little proud. This is where I'm at. I'm not completely convinced, but I have a suspect.
So Todd had, I believe it's a KTM 500, and he, like I said, was discovering a little bit of oil inside of the. He was getting milky oil. So in other words, water was getting into his basically motor. And I think we went back and forth, and I said, yeah, it's probably going through this seal. And so he wasn't sure, but he was worried about another place, another gasket surface that I believe was of concern to him. So he kind of got back to us, which is awesome. I love it when when somebody gets back, and he, like I said in the beginning, he said, I think I found the problem. So when he was replacing the seal, remember what's one of my famous things that I tell people when they have a problem with their motorcycle?
Reference.
Remember, guys, come on, you guys. What was the last thing you worked on? What was the last thing you did? And he's like, well, I had just replaced my oil pump seal or something. And I might be getting the story a little bit wrong with him specifically, but it was something like this. And then, so we said, hey, check that. And so anyways, he was worried because the water level was going down a little bit. And I will tell you, with most bikes, and KTM's in particular, if you fill your coolant up to the very tip top of your radiator to where, it's like when you put the cap on, it's right there. Under normal use, it's gonna expand down. And if you look at the KTM owner's manual, which by the way I have, it's strange. I mean, why would you ever look at an owner's manual? But it actually recommends leave it down a few millimeters, like 10 millimeters or something down, so there's some space in there for expansion. Anyhow, he was worried. He said he was filling it up and he was losing some coolant. I think that was his thing. And then he found out where it was going. It was going into his oil. So instead of blowing it out the overflow, it was getting it down in there. And I'm like, yeah, probably seal. And now he's said, okay, he has this thing. I don't see. When he talks about that the tear around the circumference and stuff like that, I don't see how that is affecting it. I mean, because the impeller usually sits a little bit. I mean, even though his seal is what he calls proud, which means outside a little bit, and from what I recall, there's two seals in it. Isn't there a seal on both sides? There's an internal seal and an external seal.
I remember there being one.
I haven't worked on one. Well, I kind of just did, but I didn't. It just blew right through it. So
was this a 2-stroke?
No, it's a 4-stroke.
Oh, because I know on my.
Yeah, there's an oil seal on one side and a water seal, and there's actually in between that there's a cavity in there that vents to atmosphere. And so a lot of times, and this is the strange thing, a lot of times the water will go in there and then leak out, it go external as before it gets into the oil. That's why I'm kind of curious about the whole setup. But so somehow it's passing through there. But yeah, but on the KTM 500, is there? I know on the old RFS bikes for sure there was a if the coolant got past the coolant seal, it would drain out onto the side of the cylinder, and they always did. But there's my
Oh yeah, I was getting ready to try change something really quick, and then
I was thinking
maybe do that.
I was thinking about it. So I don't know that the seal, that the impeller running on that seal could really, unless it was really proud, could affect it, because the backside of the impeller is kind of smooth. But if it doesn't go in, if it needs to be proud, like you say, or if it was proud, I wonder if that seal got a little bit cockeyed in there, and then. Yeah, I would actually need to go out and look at this specific bike and refresh myself with that. But so what's the question?
Do you have any tips on removing the water pump seal? I have drilled 3 small holes in the seal, but it is wedged in and doesn't want to come out.
And I do have some tips for you to remove that seal. And he's talking about removing the seal without popping off the case. So first, you probably need to go down to Mexico and get yourself some quiet. Oh, I'm doing it phonetically. I'm warming everybody up for the Say It with Cooper segment that we're going to start doing. It's incognito. Yeah? INQUIETO. You say it, Logan. Inquito? Incognito.
No, in quiet.
In quiet. Yeah. So we're right. Anyways, this is the tequila. It's because it is Tech Talk Tequila Tuesday, in case you thought it was called something else. This is our This is what I'm having tonight, and this is also really good. I imported it, of course, semi-legally from Mexico. I'll put this. I always put it right behind the logo, the Tech Talk logo. It never makes it into the show, but I'll get it right about here so you can see it next to the dinosaur head. And here's how you get that seal out. So after you have your shot of tequila, if you're above 21 and you're capable of handling a nice, tasty, semi-expensive tequila, you should drill some holes in that seal carefully. And you want to get the majority of the shavings from those the seals to don't just send it right down into the metal part of the seal, but drill down in there. And I've done this 2 ways. I've drilled multiple holes, little tiny holes, and then put a nice piece of safety wire and wrapped, made a U shape out of the safety wire and fed it through the seal, and then wire tied it and done it on both sides and popped it up. So you're pulling it up kind of square. So it would be 4 holes and 2 sets of safety wire hooked down through the 2 holes you drilled and back up, and then wire tie it and just give it a little tug. And I've done that with water pump seals. I've done that with countershaft, especially the countershaft seals, because you don't want to split the cases to pop those suckers out. And a lot of times, so the other thing you could do is sometimes is you got to be careful, because you don't want to hurt the shaft surface of the spinny part, we'll call it. And so sometimes I've been able to, on the countershaft seals especially, because you can pull the sleeve out, you can actually put the wire around there, and you only have to drill 1 hole and then fish it out through there, and then you get it on both sides and pop that out. So that's how I would get that seal out. And if it's in there crooked, you're going to fight it a little bit. If it's in there nice and square, and you can give it a nice square, but those things are flexible and they'll come out. But you will not find this technique in any owner's manual at all. By the way, this is a full-on garage technique. I think we've done something on Tech Talk about this. Not on Tech Talk, but on Dirt Bike Test. I think we've done it someplace. I've shown this technique before. So that's how I would get it out. Be careful putting those back in. Use a little seal grease on them. Just take your time when you set that seal down. Just be very careful about the first, just guiding it in nice and straight. Because if it starts out crooked, you're going to be fighting it the whole time. Who watched me do that the other day? Was it anybody here?
Cletus, maybe.
Yeah, Cooper. Cooper saw me struggle with what were we putting a seal in? That was a long the. Does that doesn't go to right?
That's the slowing the brain down.
Right. That was good.
The.
Yeah, we were working on something. It wasn't pretty.
I think it was the 500. The matte one?
The matte 500.
Or was that one?
Because I made him put the skid plate back on that.
And linkage stuff.
Oh, it was... He was doing... Oh, it was on the BBR CRF 230.
Could be.
Yeah.
He was working on that. You guys were?
I don't remember. We were working on a lot of stuff. So... That's the thing that we were working on. So next, we have a Rekluse auto clutch question explained.
Kevin Donahoe.
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 It's not Donahue. It's Donahoe.
Donahue. No.
Donahoe.
Hey, I've got a question. I bought a 2013 Husberg TE300 that the previous owner installed a Rekluse auto clutch core EXP and did not give me any of the parts that he replaced when installing it. Did not give me any of the parts that he replaced when installing it. Question is, what do I need to go back to manual clutch?
Good question. Buying time?
If it's an counter, I'm going to strike the keyboard just a little harder.
Okay. So we can hear it. It's just a clicks.
Oh, yeah.
It's nice.
We'll get a little sound for it when by 150 we'll have it dialed in.
what parts do I need to go back to the stock clutch? There's a couple different pieces. You could, in theory, figure out the gap of the Rekluse expandable part, and it depends on what he said. It was an EXP. EXP. You can figure out the distance of the EXP and literally fill that gap up with clutch plates, like standard clutch plates. And then your clutch will work like a normal clutch again, believe it or not, because you've taken the piece that goes in expanding in and out, and there's some adjustment you can do with the slave unit that you could fine tune for that gap. So there's some stuff you can do to make it work like this. But I would be willing to bet that if you went on some sort of a KTM 300, Husaberg 300, you could probably call Matt. Don't you have a Rekluse?
No.
You took it out?
I took that one out for Henson years ago.
Okay. I was going to say you could call Matt and probably, because he needs a Rekluse, because it takes you up one skill level.
It really does.
And he needs to do that. So you could probably call him and he would send you out his stock clutch parts and you could trade for the Rekluse. And then that way Matt gets a free Rekluse. But aside from actually, I think you could probably go on one of these forums literally and tell somebody, hey, I have all the EXP parts. Can we trade? And somebody there will be helpful enough to show you pictures of the manual. And maybe you have this, but it'll show you the different parts, and you could do a part swap. That would be the easier thing, or just go back and anything that inside of that clutch that is not stock, go back through and just replace it with stock parts. And there's different levels of the core EXP or there's different names. I wish I remembered all the names of the different levels of stuff, and that's what I would do. Next.
250 EX shootout.
XC shootout.
XC. Andrew Disco.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because the EX 250 is the lightest, most peak power, and widest gearbox of the three, and probably the most expensive. Just shows how often KTMs do the most development and changes and still manage to balls it up. ESP, given the Honda and Kawasaki are pretty much pure MX bikes. Really. Just buy the 250R with the nice tank and put the 18-inch wheel on, and you have a better bike than the RX. Thanks for the review.
So he's saying that the gas, which is like the KTM, which is like the Husky, is the only one that has a special gearbox.
The widest
gearbox. I'm not sure.
I don't think so. I'm actually going to pull up the test that Trevor put up recently to see how many gears that thing has, because I don't remember.
They're all 6-speeds. Yeah, even the Yamaha's a 6-speed, so they're all 6 speeds. I think the KTM might have, or the EX. I think the gas, and I haven't paid attention, to know specifically about this. By the 250R, I mean he's just switching around which bikes he's talking about at this point. He's kind of bouncing around, and I don't know what balls it up mean, but that means like screw it up. But it depends on the rider. All those bikes are really good. And it's kind of funny because Trevor is always asking me, he's like, hey, only a couple of guys like this bike. And I'm like, that happens all the time. I mean, there's bikes that it's good or bad, or, for one individual guy. It doesn't mean it's a good or bad bike. It means for that person it's good or bad. And that's why that Trevor and when we test these bikes, we take the time to ride all of them and diagnose them and let everybody's have their opinions. So we're describing them as opposed to saying it's good or bad, because you may like the wider transmission or the closer transmission. And yeah, the Kawasaki is a motocross bike with, I don't think they even changed the valving and the suspension. I think they just changed the springs. but it's the motocross motor. I don't even know if there's a different. I think the map might be different, or one map is different than the way it is in the motocross bike. I don't know. I haven't ridden them. I have to actually put time on bikes to remember what, I don't remember. I can read the spec sheets all day, and until I ride it, I don't remember it. So that's all I know. What's next?
Power lights video. Finn 825. Does the flywheel from the WR increase inertia to reduce stalling?
That's a Trevor specific question, because he put the WR flywheel and ignition on the FX. And since if it is bigger and it's heavier and it generates more power, there's two things that are going on there. One, it's bigger and heavier, it has more inertia, so that should help stalling, but it's also pulling more of a load off those magnets, which could increase stalling. And I don't know until I actually ride it. I would actually, in all honesty, I would say that FXs are a little bit less prone to stalling than WRs. And I think it more has to do with just the mapping issues and the characteristics of the bike. But you can put the competition ECU on it, and then that goes away, and it's more like an FX. So I think it has a lot to do more with the fueling and the timing, as opposed to the difference between the flywheel weights. If you're having a problem with an FX stalling or WR stalling, I think it can be tuned a little bit more with the fuel injection and ignition timing than with, I wouldn't go straight to flywheel. Like in the old days, we didn't have any options, because you had a carburetor and you had ignition that had one curve. But with the Yamaha specifically, with that power tuner app, you can just do crazy stuff with it. And the WR also needs to have a competition ECU put on it so that it really works out. Jimmy, are you old enough to know the origin of the term balls out? I'll bet Chris Reel does. I know what balls out means.
But the origin.
The origin. Yeah, origin. I don't know. I didn't do research. How's our call center in there doing? They texting you? Telling you they're bored out of their...
Just the comments or questions in there.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been putting them in the sheet. This is how we used to.
Are they asleep in the call center?
Could be.
No, I can hear them every now and then.
Yeah, so they're not asleep. Somebody might, call in. So it's just, we need to get the heat into the Seat Concepts hot seat hotline. Somebody's got to have a hot topic they want to talk about. Like Rick Levon says FXs are more ballsy. You want to talk about it? Bring it on. The number is, if you want to call in, it's
775-318-5515.
That's right. It's too far for me to see with these old things. Hey, I want to quick shout out to Fuck You Racing for this awesome hat and this sticker and another sticker and some other stuff. Jerry did a really cool design for us that I keep forgetting to get back with them on it. It's going to be the Rooster Endo logo. It's pretty cool, right, Matt?
I thought it was good. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have the Rooster Endo logo coming in hot. Maybe we're going to do a limited run of T-shirts.
Maybe.
Hey, and you know what's coming up? Father's Day. Most of you guys that are probably listening to the show are fathers. And what you need to do right now is you need to go to wewentfast.com. And you need to get that into your searching and stuff. You need to walk around all of your siblings and your wife, and you need to say wewentfast.com a lot of times so that the Google brains pick it up, and somehow that stuff gets recommended on their website, because they have lots of cool Father's Day gifts. I saw BJ's little note, and he says, don't wander around the aisles of the home improvement store looking for something you're probably going to get wrong, because if you go to We Went Fast and get one of the T-shirts or the coffee mugs or the cool collector's book that he has, what was the name of what's the name of that book you used to like looking at the pictures at?
The Grand Prix something.
Yeah, some series. It's a It's around here someplace. Grand Prix Motocross 1972 World Championship season by Terry Pratt, which is a collector's item book that BJ has for sale. He bought a case of them, and there's a cool story about how he got that.
Yeah, he talked about it in his podcast.
On his podcast and website. So check out wewentfast.com if you're struggling for a Father's Day gift or getting one that you actually need. Did you get one for your dad, Logan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The posters are cool too there.
It was on. We went fast.
Okay. Question in the chat. What do we got?
Sage Stuffer. Staffer.
It's like staffer, like a staffer would work for you, but spelled differently.
With a U.
Yeah.
I'm 5'3", about 105 pounds, and I ride a 125 and want a Honda 150, but I'm wondering if by the time that I save up, I'll want a bigger bike.
Okay. I need to know a few other things, Stoffer. What's your time frame? What's your hourly rate? So I can kind of do some calculations here. Scroll that back down because I need to check on this real quick. I want a Honda. You ride a 125. So what kind of 125? And which Honda 150? Because Honda has like the CRF 150, and they have the
big wheel,
the 150F and the 150R, which are two completely different bikes. You know, the CRF-R is like the little race bike.
Yeah.
And the F is like the play bike.
Yes.
And so I'm not sure which one, but your size at 5'3" and 105 pounds would put you in the category for almost any of those bikes. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a big fan of grow into the bike, but it really depends on, you know, the hourly rate you're earning and what your time frame is. And I'll get right back to you. You could call in, Sage. You could call in on the Seat Concepts Hot Seat Hotline at
775-318-5515.
We have operators standing by to take your call, and they'll tunnel you straight into the show. And you don't even have to donate to the cause. Like, I was going to suggest maybe like bald men need hair cause or something like that. Don't know why. So, okay. What's the next question on the sheet?
The sheet or the show?
Whichever.
The
Sheet. 2022 stock YZ 450 FX racing video. Max Henry. Any problems with the way the air filter is held in place? Those flimsy looking tabs don't look like they work very good. Stupid design, Yamaha.
Whoa. Max Henry. So obviously he doesn't have a whole lot of experience with the Yamaha, the current Yamaha YZ air filter. It's one of the easiest access, simplest, like, it's just a clip, get it out of the way, put the filter on and off. It's good to go. Mm-hmm. And it's high location, in my opinion. It's air intake from the front for the most part, as long as you're not just riding in someone's dust, is a good location. Actually, in water crossings, it's really, really good, especially compared to some other bikes that you go in and air filter goes underwater. This one actually stays up high and out of the way. But maybe that's not your concern. You like looking at videos on the internet and projecting on what you think. You should have some experience with something before you call something a stupid design. I have, in all of my time using the current, you know, since 2010 on the YZs, I thought that was actually a really good design. It was a little tougher getting in the box in the old days, but they made it so much easier. Did you sell your YZ?
No.
You haven't sold it. Mm-mm. Yeah.
So
and the only reason you're selling it is because of that airbox design, right?
Yes.
Yes, and he's shaking his head no. You're going to miss that airbox design.
Yeah.
Actually, the airbox designs on a lot of bikes have become a lot better. I remember when you could not get a Honda air filter out of the airbox. It just like didn't fit, and if it did, you had to rub it on stuff, and you're talking about a dusty air filter or something that has dirt on it, and when foam rubs up against a flat plastic surface, it shoots the dirt everywhere. Yeah. And then you have to clean out the damn thing. And imagine if you're doing a longer race where you're changing air filters mid-race, that's a problem where that Yamaha's good. So no, it's not a dumb design. No, I've never had one come loose or fall into place. The only thing I've really had problems with that design, and I don't know if it's gotten any better because I haven't had one for a while. I will. I'm getting a YZ250FX, Logan.
Oh.
Yeah. You're gonna have to talk to me. See how get put into the agenda. You know what I mean? Is when I'm racing motocross on one, I would get roosted, and there would be these little dirt balls in the air inside of the airbox. So, like a piece of dirt would get roosted in there, and I think, especially if it was kind of muddy, it would get in there, and then it would vibrate around, and they'd build these little tiny dirt balls that would be, so you'd open your air filter up, and there'd be these nice balls of dirt that were really fun to pick out and throw at people, because you couldn't make them that, you'd have to spend some time making them that way yourself, but that was the only awkward thing that ever happened to me with the current model Yamaha airbox. So, your question, Max, is disqualified.
Yes. Electric water pumps in Supercross. Zachary Waters.
Zachary Walters. Woffers.
Waters.
Okay.
Personally, I think electric water pumps would be a great thing for a cheap, easy fix for older bikes that have a corroded housing, but outside of that, they probably don't have that big of a place.
So it was funny because at the beginning, was it Supercross season? Was when those things, when the electric water pumps kind of hit ferocity. It was the latest thing. Actually, I was listening to a podcast today where one of the journalists was talking about, some of the things on the bikes, and there was he was talking about some cool stuff. And it's funny because I haven't seen it pop up, but we'll dig into that when we get a chance. But so the electric water pumps, it's all about horsepower, and then it's all about cooling, and it's all about this and that, and for the regular guy, it really makes no difference whatsoever. I mean, you are not going to. There's no disadvantage. But let's say that your water pump housing did corrode, and I've seen this happen. I've had it personally happen on KTM cases that were made out of magnesium, where the coolant ate it. And yeah, Bob just said old Huskies. By the way, Bob, welcome to the show. Glad you're not dead, because Bob didn't show up last time, and so we just figured he was dead. That's what we do around here. Are you still riding your bike around town? Yeah. You might die. You got to be careful because the drivers around here. I thought Orange County was bad, but Pahrump, bike versus car in Pahrump does not go very well.
Wasn't there some?
Well, half of them are riding in the middle of the road, Bob, and they're not that old. They're only like 40, but if you do enough speed, you think you can go down the middle of the road, or you're just on the middle of the road, but you're also yelling at the wires on your bicycle frame or something. I don't know. So anyways, oh, hey, we got a call. Holy moly. So let's bring him in. Sage, welcome to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, Hot Seat Hotline. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
We are having a great night tonight. Glad you took the challenge to make the call. It scares off most of our viewers. The hotline. Where are you from?
California and Mariposa.
Mariposa, California. And what bike do you currently have?
It's the first bike I ever got, and I didn't have a lot of money, so I got like a cheap little Chinese Apollo RFZ. I think it's 2021.
Okay, it's the Apollo RFZ. I don't know. I'm not familiar with this, but it probably looks like most of the other, like, kind of Chinese 125s and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you what the good thing about.
I'm
going to tell you the good thing about that bike, and so the interesting thing is those bikes are kind of known to be, we'll call it a little janky. Would you agree with me?
Yeah, it makes like a little bit of a weird noise.
Right. So, but they're good because unlike the the current bikes, if you were to buy like you're talking about a Honda 150, those things are stone reliable and bulletproof, and they last forever. And your Apollo will probably, some stuff will break. You're gonna have to, like little bolts will strip out or things will bend or break off, and you get to learn how to be a good mechanic by working on that thing. And so it's something that a lot of kids these days just kind of miss out on. They go right to a really good bike and they just start it and it runs every time. It works perfect. They don't have to worry about modifying it. And you're going to have to learn how to fix that bike. So, okay, now I know where you're at. And which CRF are you looking at, though? 150F or the 150R?
Whichever one, just like the normal one.
The normal one.
Whichever one's cheap.
Whichever one's cheap. So the CRF 150F is probably a little bit cheaper than the CRF 150R. And what I would suggest, if you're pinching the pennies and working hard to get that bike, I would start looking to try to find a used one. And I wouldn't limit yourself to maybe just the Honda, because you could start looking at, in not just the 150. There's some really good 125s also. So Yamaha has a TTR 125 that's a good bike. I have one of those. You can look at older Honda CRF 100s. Logan here has a CRF 125
Yes.
F. So there's lots of bike. Kawasaki makes a KLX 125. There was a DRZ 125 at some time. I don't know if there's, but there's a lot of bikes in that range that you can probably buy used. And remember what I just said, how they're kind of indestructible, and you can actually buy a used one for a little bit less of a price, and then still have a really good bike that's gonna run and work pretty good for you.
Yeah. How much would the used ones be? Because brand new, they're like $5,000.
Right. So they're even, I think they're even a little bit more than that. But the used ones I've seen like around 3.
Yeah.
Would you say it's in the market around 3? You can kind of find something in that range. So I'd be willing to bet if you kind of looked around. But at the same time, from what I can tell, you're not looking at that like CRF 150R, which is the race bike.
Yeah, I'm not racing. I'm like, I got this dirt bike, brand new, first one I've ever had, like 3 months ago, I think.
Yeah, and it's still running and working, but just making a weird noise.
Yeah, just when I get going a little fast, it makes kind of like a weird, squeaky noise.
Huh. Do you know where the squeaky noise is coming from?
No. It has, I feel like it might be the carburetor or something, because the intake is right next to the ground. It's not under the seat, and I think it might be pulling some stuff into it or something. I don't know.
Huh. It doesn't sound very good. It has an air filter on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So is the intake's near the ground? That's a strange.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
So you're saying that on this bike, the cylinder,
3 feet from the car.
the cylinder is,
Or not 3 feet.
the cylinder is angled forward, correct?
I'm pretty sure. I'll go check.
Oh, you'll check. Okay, so the cylinder isn't going up and down; it's kind of going forward and backwards in relation to where the motorcycle is set up. Yeah. Okay, we're getting a picture right now as we speak of the Apollo.
Yeah.
Is it a DBX18?
Yeah, it's going straight forward.
Okay. Yeah, so we have a picture of that. I've been shown a picture of that thing. So that's the stereotypical, kind of knockoff bike. Well, the good thing is you can find a lot of parts for that. The air filter shouldn't be really reaching the ground. It should be kind of right above the top of the motor, right?
Yeah, it's above the crankcase, kind of.
Yeah, that's the normal place for it. And they do make kind of a lot of funny noises because it's actually not a proper airbox. It's just, a lot of times those bikes have an air filter. Can you pop that up on the screen there, Matt, and maybe drop it into the chat? We're going to try to get it up on the screen for all of our viewers so everybody knows what we're talking about. If we can kind of save that image. Yeah, I bet you it doesn't. I bet you it has a pod filter right on the back. Is that the way it looks like, Logan?
Yeah.
It's not as good as your. What were you working on the other night? The Honda Spree.
Honda Spree.
Honda Spree. Yeah, that had a little air filter issue too.
Yeah.
So, anyways, hey, our viewers on the chat right now, Sage, are saying that we should give you a learn to ride class at Jimmy Lewis Off Road. How's your riding skills?
Not super good. I can
Perfect.
ride it comfortably. I just learned how to ride on my friend's little 70.
Yeah, so Matt can hook you up with this, right?
Yeah, if you go ahead and email me.
So you email Matt at jimmylewisoffroad.com. It's pretty easy to find. He's going to give you a discount code so you can get that free class. And it's you know how to ride already, but there's some stuff about balance, some little tricks about balance in there that'll make a whole lot of difference, right, Logan?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And when you watch the demonstrate rider in the video, that's Logan. Yeah, look at
Yes.
Really?
he's like, yeah, that's Logan right there. He was probably about 3 inches smaller when he did that video, but
A couple more, but
he's grown up. So we're gonna hook you up with that, and so email Matt for that. And yeah, I think that noise might be kind of normal noises for that particular bike. But a lot of times, like the jetting isn't spot on with those things, and there's a lot of things that kind of rattle and bounce around. But pay attention to it. But get that thing all cleaned up and sell it, and then you be able to kind of step into your next bike.
All right.
But
Thank you. Oh, what's the email again?
It's Matt at jimmylewisoffroad.com.
And I did put it in the chat as a response to when you asked about where to send it in for Rooster Endo.
Right.
So it'll be in the Facebook chat
he's
as
sending
well.
that bike in for Rooster Endo.
Yeah.
Make sure you take a good
right.
picture.
And then
Yeah, we good picture, because I don't want to beat on you for a bad picture. So take a good picture, and make sure you give me the year, make, and model, because I'll forget about the Apollo. Got that?
Yes.
Awesome,
Thank you.
Sage. Hey, good. Glad you're watching, and tell your friends. Follow Logan on
All right.
TikTok.
Thank you.
Okay, see ya.
Have a good day.
All right. There we go with our Seat Concepts hot seat. See, I can be nice.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't ask.
We got more calls ready for you too.
I didn't ask him if he needed a Seat Concept seat, because I know that they're not making the seats for the Apollos currently.
Right.
It's a future project. They're concentrating hard on the KTM 390s, which have a really nice seat coming for it, and some of the Nordens, the Husky Nordens. So okay, we got another call. Logan, do we need to take a break? Do you need to take a break?
We can take a break
Are
after
you,
this
are
call.
your legs all crossed and like you're doing the what do they call it, the PB dance?
no.
You're good. Okay. Okay. Next question. What do we got, Logan?
Oh wait, we got a call right here though.
Richard with a question about workout regimen and issues on tubeless tire system.
Okay. Is Richard in the room?
Richard, you there?
I think I am.
Hey, Richard. Welcome to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, Seat Concepts Hot Seat Hotline. What bike are we talking about?
So I have a 2020 501 Husky.
Okay. Seat Concepts makes a seat for that. Do you have that seat on your bike?
I do not. I need to.
That
Well,
could.
I find myself standing so much that.
Oh, that's a good answer, but that could be the start of all your problems. But okay, let's get to your question.
Yeah. First question, basically, so I'm kind of gearing up to start racing with Moran, and I've been doing a lot of Googling on what people recommend for workout regimens, and I find it's a lot of motocross racers that are, so they recommend doing kind of high intensity interval training, and so I've been starting with that, and I was just kind of wanted to pick your brain as more of a desert, distance racing, things like that. Do you find that the HIIT training is the way to go, or a blend of that and sustained cardio? Kind of, what do you recommend?
So, I definitely have. Were you the one that we talked to last week?
Yeah.
Okay, we were answering the question last week. Okay, so awesome. So as far as the training and stuff goes, I think there's kind of two levels on where we would start. And so the way I would say is if because the races end up being about like 2 to 2.5 hours long for most people at a Moran. You would say roughly.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was just gonna, I always thought desert races to me were 2 to 3 hours, somewhere in there. So the first question is, are you comfortable just going out and riding it? We'll call it an aggressive trail riding pace for 2 to 3 hours, and you don't become that tired. How's the conditioning at that level?
So I definitely haven't done that long of a ride. I've done like an hour ride at a pretty decent pace, and I felt fine. So I'll have to go out and do some more riding, kind of.
So before
lower the pace a little bit and go longer.
Yeah. So before I worry about anything else, I would go out and do some 2.5 hour long rides. Don't go race pace. You're just going to go out there and make sure you're riding and not really stopping. You can stop once and for 3 minutes and take a leak and drink some water or whatever, or fill up with gas. But go out and do some riding at for that length of time, just to see how your body responds, and maybe kind of build that in if you have the time. Build that into the training regimen or the practice regimen, so you're actually simulating what you're going to actually go out and do. Because no matter what, when you go do your first race, just the intensity of being at a race and feeling the pressure and stuff is going to kick it up a little extra notch. But I would say before I actually tried to train something specific, I would go do that to have my body tell me, your body's going to talk back to you and tell you, hey, these muscles are sore, or I was noticing I was running out of wind. And then and only then can you decide what you need to do for your training. Because if somebody says, oh, you need to be cycling, 45 minutes a day at high intensity, or cycling for 2 or 3 hours, maybe you find out that, hey, I can get on the bicycle and cycle for a long period of time and experience some of those same things, so you can work on, at that point, then you can develop the regimen afterwards. But I wouldn't worry about it like on the first. But it also depends on the other thing I would tell you is that a lot of these race courses get chewed up and get kind of hoopty dude. They're kind of beat. So squatting type exercises, squatting, especially under kind of your own weight, or doing any sort of squats, that sort of thing, you'll find that those muscles tend to come into play in racing.
Okay, awesome, thank you. Yeah, so the other question I have, so I've got a tubeless system on both the front and the rear, and I'm kind of curious. I don't know. I keep bending wheels, at least kind of pinching the edge of the rim out, so that like they end up not holding air. Kind of
normal in the desert racing world. Like bent rims are pretty common. Yeah. Okay. And what pressure are you running?
So I tend to kind of throw it around 12, maybe I'll put it up to 15 if I'm feeling, if I think there's like a slow leak. Because that's one of the things that I don't think the rear holds air just fine. The front, I don't know if, maybe a spoke is loose or whatever, but I always feel like it's just over the course of a couple rides, it just will, never really hold just 100% perfect air. So I'm wondering if, maybe I'm starting to lose air as I'm getting on the trail and then just getting low enough to start deflecting off of rocks and bending things.
So for desert racing, I think 12 is a little risky as far as just pressure, whether you're running tubes or unless you're running a moose, unless you want to have a 12 PSI feel, and you're running a moose, and you're going to dent rims if you're hitting stuff like this anyways. So you when you hit something that you get a ding in your rim, you feel it, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely, this last one.
You remember the rock.
Hard hit. Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, I just want to make sure that because I've ridden with people and had partners that would hit stuff, and they come back and there's a big old dent, and you can see either the tube or the moose inside of there, and they would come back and go, "I didn't hit anything." I'm like, yes, you did. So at least you have the feel for this. So I would suggest running a slightly higher pressure. I don't know if tubeless would be my first choice. I would probably prefer heavy-duty tubes above a tubeless system for desert racing, and then moose would be the most ideal, and newer, larger moose in the order of things. But The denting the rim can generally be avoided by not hitting the rock. That's the first the first thing. And so if you start noticing what it takes to hit and dent your rim, and there's plenty of roads you can go and find where the rocks are that bad where you can kind of learn this if it's difficult. I don't want you to go dent your rim, but you could start going to where you get the ting feeling, the ting where it's like, okay, that's compressed everything out of my tire, and my suspension's stiff enough to where it's doing it. And then teach yourself, I can't hit those. It just, when even when I was racing at a high level, I'm not hitting those because it's just because you stand a chance of breaking the bike, which or having a catastrophic crash, because if you're kind of hitting them, and that means you're out of control because you don't want to hit them, and so you got to modulate the speed, and generally that comes down to being better on the brakes, and there's a whole lot of stuff for it, but maybe just practicing a little bit of that would help out.
Awesome. And just kind of one last little piggyback question on that. Like, can I take kind of like a acetylene, like a torch, and kind of heat the wheel up and maybe like kind of, because it's not like a massive blowout on the rim. I'm wondering if these can be straightened out pretty easily, or should I just get something new?
In my history, I've never had any success bending rims back straight. It just, I've heard of people doing it. I've tried clamping them in vices, and I beat the crap out of them with a sledgehammer. I've done all this, and I've never had. It's got to the point where I just kind of let them ride. I knew which ones were, actually I have 2 sets of wheels down at W right now. That I didn't do one of them. Andrew Short did it for me because he was so pissed off at his wheel, he just gave it to me. Believe it or not, but there's some pretty, and then another one that I collectively over many years dented it up, but it just gets to a point where you just have to replace the rim. So hopefully, that'll help you out, and thanks for giving us a call tonight.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Jimmy.
Oh, hey, let us know how your race goes. Yep. We want a race report here.
Yeah, well, I'm still trying to figure out a bike. I don't know if I put it in the YouTube channel. I went and kind of checked out a few of the bikes. I checked out the YZ 450FX, and Ride Now out here just wants stupid money for everything. So just trying to kind of figure a bike, and I got to sell one of my cars first. So
well, take it slow and have a good time doing it.
Will do. Thanks, Jimmy.
Awesome. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Okay, do we have any more questions on the papers?
No paper questions.
No paper questions.
We have one more call.
Okay.
I think we should take it, and then commercial break after.
Okay.
Mike has a question about more capable adventure bikes.
Hey, I want to give it up to
Maddox
over there, and he's had to check the name.
He's doing a good job.
Maddox doing a killer job in there. That's good. Way better than Logan. Logan was in there. We think he was just sitting around in his underwear in there, just doing nothing. But, okay. Hey, Mike, welcome to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. You are in the hot seat, sponsored by Seat Concepts. How's it going?
Not bad. Evening, Jimmy and Logan. Nice to talk to you guys. And, yes, I do have a Seat Concepts seat on my bike.
That's why you went straight to the front of the line.
Okay. My question is just an opinion one. With the resurgence in popularity of dual sport and capable adventure bikes, do you think we're going to see a truly lightweight single come out in the 500 to 650 cc range?
Oh man, that's a good question. A single cylinder 500 to 600 cc. So you're talking about kind of like an adventure bike more than a dual sport bike.
Well, I hate to say the word adventure bike because I'm talking about lightweight. When you look at the KTMs and the Betas down in that 250-pound range, right? And then you got the next step. You're looking at the CRF at 290, and then you move up to 360 for the DRs. But what about like a WR-based Tenere?
That'd be really cool. And that's the one hole that Yamaha really has in their lineup is they do not, and they haven't had a kind of that mid-sized dual purpose. We can't say dual sport. Dual sport is owned by Suzuki, by the way, and so a lot of times when you talk about this, you have to talk about dual purpose bikes. But I think that the way that a lot of these manufacturers kind of look at it is that's such a hybrid area where you're asking so much out of the bike that they say, hey, we make this, we make this product, whether it's the Sierra 450 X or Sierra 450L or, KTM's 500 EXC or the Husky or all the different variants. They kind of say, here's this bike. We're going to let you figure out what to do with it. And because if they did it, they're going to do it, quote, wrong for 80% of the people. You kind of get with me? I mean, listen to me talk about the KTM 690, the Husky 701 platform. Because I'm, quote, not a fan, although there's some characteristics of that bike that are just brilliant. I really like it. But it's like, it's something that's trying to do too much. So my take is they already make these really nice motocross bikes that that these brands can kind of I don't want to call it detune them. They just have to morph them into stuff that meets the emissions regulations and the sound things, and they do a really good job of doing that. And then they say, here's what you have, and then you have a good company like Moto. That's tacomoto.co, by the way. Like how I just threw that in there, Logan. You should have done that.
Could have.
You could have? Were you ready to do that? No.
I was pre-reading this
question. But anyways, so there's so much aftermarket out there to be able to make the bike, and so you take whatever color you like or whichever brand you have flavor to, and then just build your own. Is I think that way you end up with the bike. So, because I think the question is like, I think if the manufacturer did it, they would do it more wrong than right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you just look at all these guys that are buying KTM 500s or 450Ls, and then they're spending thousands on top of it, putting a good dual sport, a 4-gallon tank on there and a decent seat concept seat, stuff that's forgotten by the manufacturer. When you're making a bike street legal, these things should be included with the bike, because you're just costing the buyer money to make them have to purchase these things after the fact for true dual purpose riding.
Yeah, I think, you see some manufacturers trying this. Like, look at what Kawasaki does with the KLR 650. That's one of the features of it that has a big giant tank, and it's like, okay, here we go. And then of course it's attached to a motor that makes half the power that it could, and a suspension that's designed to go down a gravel road. Where KTM makes something that's light, agile, and then you have to drop a big giant tank on top of it, but. If they put this big tank on it, then everybody complain, oh, the tank's too wide. But we'll let, because not everybody needs that fuel range. Like over in Europe, you'd be hard pressed to try to run your bike out without going past 4 or 5 fuel stations. Out here in Nevada, you'd be hard pressed to ride from one fuel station to another town on a stock tank. So.
Yeah, that's where I'm at in Canada, and it seems to be, like you say, the same in Western U.S. and all of Australia. The guys need these bigger tanks that the manufacturers just aren't making.
Yep.
It's pretty cool to see Yamaha offer that new remote fuel pump on that new World Raid edition, where they could easily come up with a rally-style tank like they put on that Fantic 450 that they brought out there recently, based on the WR.
Yeah, and like I said, that's where the aftermarket just sort of, they see a hole in the market, and then they go to fill it. So, well, awesome. I'm sorry I can't be of more help. I'd like to.
Hey, just hoping for a good rumor.
Yeah,
it's an interesting topic for sure.
And I've heard that there are some, we'll call them more mid-size adventure bikes currently in development. I currently have heard strong rumors for 2 of those. So two different brands, not just the one brand that makes lots of different brands. But I think there's something mid-size, but I don't know if it's single or twin cylinder, in all honesty, on both fronts. So I think I would guess that they're going to go twin cylinder, and they're going to try to make it as light as possible, which means 400 pounds. But I'm guessing they're going to go twin cylinder just so it goes down the road and it works on the adventure side a little bit better, but it's still not 600 pounds. But it's not going to be a super lightweight. That's a niche bike that you're going to have to build out of what's out there.
Okay, well, thanks for your opinion.
Okay, You have a great day, and say hi to all my friends up in Canada, even if you have to go underground to find them, because I don't know how.
Will do. Thanks, guys.
Okay, take care. See ya. Okay, well, with that, we went long.
Yeah,
in this segment. That's why
we were getting ready to wind down the call-in line, and then everyone called in. So
Yeah.
Well, you have to warm it up.
Well, we warmed it up for a while
good.
there. Yeah. Kind of
Hey, can you leave messages on our call-in line? If
you
you're
can actually leave voicemails. So this is something I meant to mention on the show. So if you decide, hey, if you're having a bad day with a bike, or just you want to share, there's something you think we should know, go ahead and call 775-318-5515, and you can leave a voicemail, and we will be able to hear it, and we can talk about it on the show.
So right now, if you're 3 shots deep in tequila listening to this show, but it's Wednesday, and you're like, I can't even call in. It's like, no, you can call in and do the little bit of a rant.
Right.
You can pretend, or you might be 3 tequilas to the wind.
Well, next time I have to work on my.
Tell us. Yeah. I think I'm probably going to get a lot of calls from Canadians.
Probably.
That are mad at me because I always get confused because I think it has to do with, since they're underground, they have little beady eyes. They're really nice people. They make funny jokes and they laugh and they're happy, but they like to loop out bikes. Why are you laughing, Logan? I'm trying to be serious here.
You just hate on Canadians.
No, I like them. No, they're good. They're like I said, they're really nice people, and but the bikes tend to the rear fenders touch the ground. It's crazy.
They might like you. They might be a little less nice to you if they listen to the show now.
No, but then they can call in and tell me about it.
They can
on the hotline. Because
Okay.
if I didn't know that you could call in from Canada, I didn't know they had phones underground.
It's just a phone. Oh, yeah. All right.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna talk about Mexicans. Where's Victor? He must be banned from Facebook.
Maybe.
Okay. Well, anyways, we're gonna take a little bit of break. We're gonna come back with your favorite segment, Rooster Endo, and the rest of the questions that are in the chat. So we'll see you in a few minutes.
What's up, Moto Buddies? Mike here from Taco Moto Co. What is the Taco Touch? It's the best service in the industry. Virtually 24/7 tech support via email or text, and it's like having a dirt bike doctor on call every day of the year, helping you fix your bike or recommend parts or setups for you. If you've ever received an order from us, you'll know that the Taco Touch extends to our fulfillment, and our orders come with the coolest stickers that you've ever had, buying parts from anybody before, and a handful of root beer barrel candies. All of our Taco Moto co-branded components come with a no questions asked lifetime warranty, and we'll even extend out the warranty of other manufacturers, OEM, and aftermarket parts where we can, sometimes for life. We test and tune endlessly and exhaustively and obsessively. We're trying to destroy everything that we can before you get your hands on it to look for weaknesses and to improve it, or to make recommendations to the manufacturer. And if it's something that doesn't meet grade, then we don't offer it on the store. Everything that we carry is something that we have personally used, tested, and ridden, and raced, and knows meets the high Taco Touch demanding standard. Go out and get some adventure.
Since 2009, Seat Concepts has been dedicated to making the best aftermarket seats. More comfort, more grip, more riding. For 10 years, we've continued to raise the bar. Innovation and American craftsmanship make Seat Concepts the world-leading manufacturer of power sports seats.
And we are back. Thanks to all our sponsors. Support those guys because they are supporting us. And if you are enjoying this, pay it forward. You know, if you have a choice to make, try some of those companies' products. And in fact, Matt agrees with me in this because he's the one that's working on a lot of these sponsors. We don't just go after anybody. We go after a lot of these companies that we use and respect ourselves. So, with that, today's product test of the week. This is the Tugger toe strap, and it's $20. And because of the $20 that I spent getting this thing, this is the only reason that this show is on tonight.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't have this, I would have said, hey, Matt, why don't you just hang out here with this bike while I ride back on the one that's still working?
Mm-hmm.
And then I would try to start the podcast up by myself, and it wouldn't work.
Yeah, I would be
and
up
then
there
you would
doing
be up in the
survival
desert.
challenges.
Yeah, you'd be doing the Survivor thing.
You would hear back from me in a week with a vlog of my challenges.
And the only reason the bike broke is because Matt was there, and that's why I would leave him there, and I wasn't scared about him with bears. But this little nugget here is just this nice little case. It actually comes with instructions that kind of gives you some instructions on how to tow somebody back. But we don't read instructions. But it's essentially a really nice set of cord with a ring on it, so you can just thread it through, and you see it's all well used. Mm-hmm. It actually wasn't new. This is the second time.
Okay, I was really impressed with it. It definitely beat the tie down that we used before for the last time.
Right. Yeah. The other strap. So it's just little strap. You see, it's all wound up nice and tight here. Just unwind it. You basically just loop it through. We put it on. We went foot peg to foot peg.
Mm-hmm.
But you can go from something like the muffler mount to the bar if you want to do that. But we prefer towing foot peg to foot peg. We're gonna work on a video on this, how to tow. Mm-hmm. That's why I was shooting with the GoPro.
Yeah, I think it'd be super beneficial because for someone like me who,
you were a tow novice.
I was a tow beginner last time.
Oh.
Tow novice this time. I think I'm somewhere between novice and intermediate right now because when the second time when we finally hit the road, it's like something clicked and I was like, oh, nice and easy.
Well, you didn't slam on the rear brakes because remember, the guy that's towing is the power, and the guy that's getting towed is the brakes.
Right.
And when I started notifying Matt that I wanted him to slow down because you don't want this tow strap to become part of your wheel or your sprocket.
Can you move your mic arm a little bit? It's casting a shadow on your face.
That's okay.
Okay.
It makes me look pretty. It's that mood lighting. But anyways, go to Tugger, thetugger.com. Thetugger.com to find yours. Tell me you heard about it on Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. I might even have some sort of a discount code, but that would require you to email me, and it's all top secret, but don't let anybody know. Oh, good thing I finished that up later. Rooster Endo. It's a segment where you send in a picture of your bike with the year, make, and model, and we tell you what we think about it. It depends on my mood and Logan's mood on where it gets ranked. Roost is good. Endo is bad. Let's let it rip.
Seth Waterfall.
Seth. Well, we got his name right. Oh, that looks sweet.
21 Yamaha Tenere 700. OEM crash bars, AXP skid plate, Yamaha rally seat, Oxford heated grips, Camel ADV pegs, Camel ADV tidy tail tidy, Adventure Spec side rack, Alt Rider top rack, Out X tubeless rear, Bridgestone Battle Axe, AX 41 tires, Upshift graphics, Cycra handguards, Amazon slip-on muffler.
That thing was roosting so hard. It was roosting in a twin cylinder fashion that was taking it, and then you went to Amazon slip-on muffler.
Well,
you have no room
Amazon
to talk.
slip-on.
I have one on my TTR CRF 230.
I'm actually really impressed with it.
We're still testing it.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, and by the way, this bike just roosts. It's a really good-looking bike. He's done a lot of cool stuff to it. He's got it set up the way he wants it. And yeah, we're bagging on your muffler. I hope it isn't loud, because that's the problem with all these Amazon mufflers. Because the one is loud.
It is.
No, it was way louder. But I actually, because it was a knockoff of a Pro Circuit muffler, and I took the Pro Circuit muffler apart and stuffed the quiet insert into the Amazon muffler and made it acceptable. So hopefully your bike's not loud, but I like it. It roosts. Just put it up there on that department, and let's go on to the next one. We've been running long tonight, so we're just gonna hit it hard. Oh,
Darren St. Yves.
St. Yves. Is that an Irish name?
I don't know.
Because I'm just checking these green handguards out.
YVES.
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 2019 Honda CRF 230F. It's his wife's motorcycle. Ricochet off-road skid plate. JFG racing wraparound handguards. ASV F2 levers. Rejetted 120 main / power up needle. Airbox snorkel removed. Modified exhaust baffle. Regeared 14 and 48 primary drive front sprockets. Super sprocket rear with primary drive X-ring chain. Tugger straps front and rear. DRC wide foot pegs.
Does he say anything about the green handguards?
Yeah.
I mean, does he say, is the word green in that entire description?
No.
Well, you did ask if the name was Irish.
Yeah. I think I was going like green handguards to celebrate my heritage, or I want the bike to feel like a Kawasaki at the handle grips, or something.
The green is the money, all the money he's saving on levers.
Right, from having wraparound guards. He's done a really good job setting that thing up, it sounds like.
Yeah.
That's his wife's bike, though. It looked like he just got done washing it, and he took a picture in his front yard in green headguards. I don't know. What do you think, Logan?
I think she crashes a lot.
Oh.
Because
maybe the green handguards are, you get them at a discount.
Maybe.
No, my sister, she broke a lot of levers.
Right.
So we put an ASV on it, and it kind of stopped it. And our next step is, if it continues, is wraparound handguards.
Right.
So that could be why there's
What about
ASV
green? Do you think green handguards deflect the ground better?
Possibly.
Maybe. Maybe they match. Maybe
the grass.
Actually, you can't really. Yeah, maybe they're riding in a really green area, and that way, when they get all kind of grass marked up and stuff, you can't tell, because the red ones really shows the mud, and these just blend in better.
Yeah.
Could be colorblind. That's another good thing. But you can pick her out in a crowd for sure. It's like, looks like Christmas. Is this a Christmas gift? And maybe it's a Christmas gift. I don't know.
Red and green.
Yeah, I'm feeling good tonight, Roost. Next on the agenda,
Perry Vance.
Perry Vance. You know, Logan, you notice how my cat likes to walk around a lot? And what does she like to show you?
Her dead animals.
Yeah, but usually when she's walking around, what's she trying to show you?
Her butt.
Right. This is what I feel like with this photo.
Yeah.
I feel like it's my cat just like walking away showing me her butt.
I wish I had a camera on me right now, because
You're confused?
I'm not following you on this one.
Well, it's just a guy, like, he parked his bike next to the river, and it looks like a pretty cool place to ride, but we're going to talk about this bike, and all I see is his butt. Just the butt of the bike. Okay.
This
Read
makes more
it.
sense then.
2016 500 EXC in the woods of Central California.
Showing its butt. Endo. That just straight up endo.
I thought that one was going to do all right.
Yeah, the picture was okay. I think it could have been framed a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah, there could have been some lighting concerns. There could have been a lot more to that. It is really just
What was his aperture
the
at?
butt of the bike. I don't know. I don't know any of that stuff, but I can shoot a better photo than that. I mean, I wouldn't mind riding there and stuff, but like, let's see the bike a little bit, not just the butt. Now we're gonna get a bunch of rear end shots of everybody's favorite muffler.
And they're still gonna manage. It's for that, but also to make sure that you don't see their front disc rotor guard.
Oh, he might have been hiding a front disc rotor. Yeah,
But it's the wrong side to
he didn't even
hide it.
He didn't even call it out. I don't know. Let me look and see if I can see it because Matt did blow it up. No, it's completely hidden. He's got one on there. It's the only modification he put on his bike. That's why it endos.
Yep.
Western Rogers. 2019 Husqvarna 701 Enduro. Power Commander 5. PC Auto Tune. Raid Garage Intake. London Posket. Performance Cam.
Linden Posket.
That one. Aero Full Exhaust. Rekluse Auto Clutch. 1550 gear ratio. Race Tech Spring with gold valves. ABS fully removed. Rottweiler dongles. A skid plate.
At least he didn't. At
Nope.
least he didn't send us a photo just having his
Fancy.
dongles hanging out.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a nice photo of his bike. We can see the bike. It's up against a brick wall. It's not that pretty. I mean, that could be right next to his garage. He may have not just washed it, but it's okay. But it looks like it's kept clean. This thing's got a lot of stuff. Does that seat? That seat goes. Is that custom? Is it custom? I didn't see the custom seat on there.
I
think that's stock.
Really, they're like that stock.
I'm pretty sure because that looks like the year, like the model years when I worked at a Husky dealership.
Okay.
And that looks like a carbon copy of the 17s or 18s.
Okay.
This is a 19.
19?
19.
Okay.
Yeah. I have to be careful here because I'm not a fan of that bike, but that one looks good. I don't know what it just I don't know if it's you look at the light. You said do you say the light? Did you name the Baja Designs light on that thing?
Later.
Yeah. That's a good light, and I'm just looking at that bike, and it's got the tanks. It's kind of like, I think I'm you know what I'm doing? I'm hoping that bike works. Because I know underneath it doesn't. it's got a really nice clothing, but it's a good bike. Baby's got back. If he shot that from the back, you would see it a little bit different light, but that's a nice angle. He found the good angle for that. You can take a picture of your girl at the right angle and like that, and you turn him another way, and it's like, uh-oh. Yeah, well, I think that's what we got going on here. Good job, 433X. I don't know why you'd race that thing, but that's crazy. But yeah, Roost. And that's it?
That's it.
What do you like? Knowing full well that we never ever
did you call
bow down to any sponsorship pressures on this.
Was there a George White?
No.
There's no George White? Did George White get fallen off the thing?
Should be a George White.
Behind you on your right side.
No words on it, but
Does that look like the George White photo?
No.
Let me see.
No, it's the other way.
George White's doing a wheelie. I can see it in the little picture up on the screen. Can we just put George White onto next week?
We can just put him on to next week.
Yeah, we'll just postpone George White's wheelie until the next one. We'll just go with these things.
Anyway,
okay,
my winner's Seth.
So who had a seat concept seat?
None of them.
Who had Trail Tech?
One of them.
Okay. Who had Takamoto stuff already? DDC? Nobody was wearing climb gear. Fasst Company handlebars? No?
Nope.
No, but one guy had your stabilizer set up. The BRP bar clamp with Scott steerings.
they're not a sponsor of the show. Can't
I know.
really go there.
But that's really the only.
Which one do you like, Logan? Come on.
I've only ridden one of them, and I liked that bike a lot, and that's Perry Vance's 500.
Oh, you've ridden that bike?
No, but like the 500.
Oh, you've ridden the 500?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the Yamaha. I like the Tenere, the T7.
Had a good photo, too.
It had a good photo.
Mm-hmm.
T7, it just looked good, even though he had a
Amazon
slip-on. But, you know, you might just, at some point, you might just have to go that route and see how it works, and then who knows. But, yeah, that's the winner of the tacomoto.co sponsored Rooster Endo.
$100 gift certificate. Go ahead and reach out to me at matt@jimmylewisoffroad.com.
Yeah, thanks for sending all that stuff in. If you want to send your bike in, again, send it to matt@jimmylewisoffroad.com. We will check those things out. And hopefully, I think all those people were in the chat room. Like, I didn't watch them trying to convince me that that was the best bike. But it's all good. Logan, any other stuff? What's new? What's new in the Logan dirt bike world?
Are we going to talk?
My dirt bikes got taken away, I guess. That's new.
Bad grades?
No.
No.
Moving,
yeah. So, okay, but you're not in trouble, right?
No.
Okay. Matt was in trouble when he used to hang out over here. Matt would get in trouble because he knew if he came over here, he could kind of like sneak in the dirt bikes. But, okay, that's good you're not in trouble because I'd clip you too.
You were
because you probably might have deserved it.
There was a little bit there. If it wasn't for Jimmy, I was not allowed to touch a dirt bike.
So Matt, we wanted to talk about the reason that the bike broke today and the diagnosing process.
I was around, and I have this natural, like, bad voodoo for bikes.
Allegedly. So what we were doing today was we were riding, and we didn't get a whole lot of questions, or maybe we did. I don't know if that came up. We were riding.
We did earlier. The chat's kind of
tapered off. We were riding a Christini CRF 280X and a Honda CRF 250X to feel two identical bikes, identical tires, to test to see what all-wheel drive feels like. And the reason it's a 280 is because it really needs it because. And Matt, you can tell me about this. Did you notice how that bike, when you got on the gas, it didn't pick up very well?
No.
It doesn't spin.
It doesn't really spin at all, and it has to be with how.
Well, because when the rear wheel slips, the front wheel grips. This is how the Christini system works. So, because it's running at a gear ratio, and Matt actually said something that was really impressive to me at the end of the day. He said, I would like the front wheel to not grab as soon or as quick. In other words, to be geared a little bit. And it'd be hard for me to say whether higher or lower is the right term, but you want it to, I think you want a little bit lower ratio.
Yeah, because for me, I would describe it as it was a little too torquey for me, if that makes sense.
You want the back to spin a little bit more. And you don't want the front to grab so soon.
Exactly.
Kind of comes in.
Because when I was doing some of these slower, when we were going a little slower and we had some of those turns, and especially in the looser stuff, I would try to give it a little blip like I'm used to, and the bike just did not handle it all like what I wanted. And there were some cases where I almost had the front end kind of slide out a little bit.
You said it didn't handle all like you wanted, means it didn't handle all like you were used to.
That's correct.
Okay,
like I'm used to.
Because when you gassed it, instead of it spinning and kind of doing what a normal bike would do, the front end actually kind of tugged you in the direction it was pointing.
Exactly. This threw me for a complete loop. I felt like I was being ridden there for my first session on it.
And we have video of it, by the way. And we will put this in some sort of a video.
Throughout the day, though, I came to like it and appreciate it a lot more. But I still kind of felt like I would want that front wheel not to pick up or go.
And so on that particular bike, the ratio is actually higher than the way that they're sold. I prefer it like this because and it takes me about 20 minutes to hop on that bike and readapt is what I'll say. So and there's certain times when it's such an advantage, like in the gravel and stuff like this, where you're coming around a turn and your front end starts to push and you start feeling it. You come on the gas and it pulls the front end around, which is really weird. You don't have to steer into it. So it's the same difference between driving a 2-wheel drive car on a loose surface and a 4-wheel drive car on a loose surface. and the fact that you steer into it as opposed to counter steer. The same thing sort of happens on this motorcycle. And this is something we just kind of want to explain and talk about because it's an interesting concept. But what happened today was Logan's checking the framing for the next show. You're going to make 150 a lot better by.
I was wondering how much I cut off
Okay.
with moving this back.
Yeah, good job. I see you over there doing work. He's not just sitting here being a pretty face.
He actually sent me a message about something he noticed. So
He's
doing good.
Was that the shadow on my face?
Shadows behind us.
Yeah. So we're gonna explain this, but the interesting thing was I went to do this stupid hill climb. Well, it was the second or third stupid hill climb I did, and I'm pinning it, and that bike did not have it. Neither of those bikes probably had enough power to do that hill climb, and you couldn't. It has a V at the bottom, so you can't really get some speed into it. So I was making was it second attempt at it? Yeah, second attempt at it, and the bike just shut off. Just stopped, and I'm like, that's not good. And it didn't make any clanking or mechanical noises and stuff. And like we talked about earlier, it basically probably gave up the stator, gave up the ghost, got hot from its second hill climb. It was pretty hot outside, but it was because Matt was close by. Matt had ridden the bike probably most of the time, so you did the damage.
I would say 60 to 70% of the time.
Yeah, so it's his fault.
Yep.
The last time, not the last time, but the previous time than the last time that I rode with Matt, he did break the Castini while riding it.
Was that the other time we towed it back?
Was I riding it?
Yeah.
I didn't think I was riding it at that point. I thought it was Jimmy I thought Jimmy was
You were
riding it
there,
at that time.
so-
I was there, yeah.
Yeah, see, that's the key thing. Is I don't think the last times I've towed or pushed motorcycles, it's been when Matt's there. So I'm thinking that's the deciding
It is the
factor
common
on this.
denominator. I mean, my last few ventures of riding Jimmy bikes or being around Jimmy when he's riding, and it wasn't for the riding school dirt bike test, they have not necessarily gone that well. Because I think that was the first time like you and I have gone riding,
if
and
you
it wasn't
have-
for any.
If you have a friend like that, like leave some messages in the comments, or
Or call in.
Let us know, because I'm gonna try to. I like to get the root cause of the problem, and so I'd really like to find out what's causing this. What is it about Matt's aura? Maybe all these technical difficulties we have in this show can be attributed to Matt.
Yeah,
that's good. I'm glad Logan agrees.
Well, there's always some hiccups when you're innovating.
I think remember you get him out, and then that's your job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it pays better over there, allegedly.
Allegedly.
So anyways, I want to thank everybody up on the chat. Sorry I did not see.
I went ahead and I messaged
Okay.
Sage back.
That's okay, but I wanted to make sure that we were at least doing one every 30 seconds.
One every 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yep, that is true.
Good on you.
Hey, do you know what? If you're looking for a 4-stroke motocross bike, we have something for you. The Yamaha YZ line of 4-stroke bikes. Why don't you pick it up here? Logan, what do you want to do?
Visit YamahaMotorsports.com today to explore for what's new and improved for 2022. The YZ 450F and YZ 250F bring the performance with powerful 4-stroke engines, reduced unsprung weight, and new suspension settings. For the full look of a full factory ride, both the YZ 450F and the YZ 250F come in exclusive Monster Energy Yamaha Racing Edition graphic packages, and you can take precision tunability to the next level with the Yamaha exclusive and industry-only free power tuner app. Visit YamahaMotorsports.com today. Find your Yamaha YZ and enter Victory Zone.
I'd like to thank all of our sponsors, Yamaha, Takamoto Co., Takomoto.co on the webs. They have all your stuff. Scott Sports, Climb, DDC, Trail Tech, Fasst Company, and of course Seat Concepts for bringing us the hotline. It's working.
It's working good.
Thank you, Maddox.
We'll have to get him on the show.
Thank you,
one of
Joey
these times.
Bobby. You got to come riding with me. I can work on some of those technique problems that Bob was talking about. Bob, the armchair coach over here. He stands around and listens. He's kind of like people on the internet. They listen and they regurgitate and try to tell you, but they don't ever get it just right. So, and when Logan can't go riding, you just, show up. I'll just think you're Logan. It doesn't matter. Anything else? I think we're running through the thing. I got San Felipe Bob Jr. His name is John Sermon, has been watching the show tonight. He says he's going to come up with some good nuggets
awesome.
for this to help us out with putting the nuggets.
Well, if he does good on this, I might have another job with him with my Twitch project I've been working on.
Okay, John, you could be getting hired here, because any of you guys know how to do the social media stuff. You got TikTok accounts. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go big on the talks real soon. Matt, thank you for coming in. Thanks for doing that. Bob, good to see. Glad you're alive. Still kicking. That's good. We were gonna bring Ned in there tonight. We're gonna bring my father-in-law because he's over there. Oh, he is? Yeah, he's next. He's right over there. Well, you guys would never stop talking. Right. We'd never get to the show. Yeah. So we forgot to tell him about the show happening tonight. But he might be watching there, and he might come over here with a gun and finish us all off in a little bit. But you never know. Pedro Linchero, you're gonna have to hold your question till next time, or just put it in the chat right now, and we go through this. We get notifications when people put stuff in the chat.
Not necessarily. I copy from the chat and I paste them, so we have them saved for next week. Pedro, if you had put it... Question from Facebook earlier. Oh, did you put it on our post?
It's sometimes they put the Facebook comments after we start the show, and we don't go back to that, so it's hard to keep. That's what the problem with all these social media channels. Remember when we just had... No, you guys don't. You had one phone line, and people would call you on the one phone line. There was no such thing as email. If you wanted to get a hold of somebody, you called them and talked to them. Like right now, like people say they talk to me on the internets.
I did that today. I called you.
Well, I butt dialed you first.
Yeah.
You got right back to me. It was a hot butt dial call.
49 minutes later.
Okay, close enough.
Right back.
Right on, it's 9:09 tonight, live in Pahrump. We're going to sign off. Thank you for joining in. Tell a friend. Let a friend know about Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. Call in on the hotline next time. You know, you can practice. You can do it in front of the mirror or in the shower. Just, practice your question, and I probably won't derail your train. We'll just help your bike roost a little bit better. Send in your Rooster Endos, and with that, what are we going to do?
See you out on the trail.
See you on the trail, everybody. Cheers.